Good afternoon, everyone. It is November 16th, 2022, Wednesday. This is an outlook for tomorrow's Thursday, November 17th session. Before we get into what I'm actually looking for on the ES and what day trades will be doing, uh, I want to quickly note that the SPY had extremely low volumes today at this area. 67 and a quarter million shares done on the SPY. Very similar to this late August move, August 26th, or sorry 25th, where we only had 50 million shares done. So we haven't had volumes as low as this in a long time. So that is just something to note, is that the volumes are getting very thin at these upper areas. Now, let's move on to the ES, and let's quickly also take a look here on our larger outlook. We can see this pivot has now held up so many times, the 62 area, that just being the Q3 halfback. And once again, we tested it in the morning, in the afternoon, and again later in the day, just peaking below, or sorry, just tagging it. But earlier in the day, we're testing the Q3 POC, sorry, at 68. So we have tested that numerous times. Yesterday, it was interesting. We couldn't get into this upside gap. And then today, let's quickly go into this chart for you guys. I know it's a little bit ugly, but just bear with me here for a second. Interestingly enough, what we have is, and let's pull up the volume for today's session. Let's switch that to a 5 minute, make it a little bit cleaner for you guys to look at. There we go. Bear with me. Let's maybe ignore the candles here. Let's get rid of that. So we're just looking at pure structure now. You have value area high sitting around this 81 area where we had the weekly open on Monday. That's also now coinciding with where we have our POC on the week. The monthly POC has shifted down towards that 69 number. And that's also where our daily POC is sitting, down below as well, if you include the full session. Otherwise, it's up at 78s. But my point being is that we've put in, the volume has shifted lower. Today was unable to reach value area low from yesterday. So we have a situation where value is migrating lower, and what you're either going to expect is a flush to the downside, or if we start to get acceptance above today's value area high, which again coincides with that weekly POC. Yeah, that's a weekly POC. If you start accepting over the open, value area high, and the weekly POC, you'll likely get a face ripper to the upside into this 96 area, which is not the weekly POC, but that was where our weekly and monthly POC was as of today's open and for the majority of the day. So what I would be looking for tomorrow is either we get a move down and finally breach the 62 and start testing the 30 area. Sorry, my phone's going off. Either we test that 30 area, or we get above value area high from today, above the volume on the week, and we start pressing up towards 96 and likely get a break above weekly value area high into the last week's high 09 and maybe that 17 number again, and maybe continue even higher and fill out that profile to the upside. So let's go into what that actually looks like on our main chart. This is what I'm looking at. This is just a 5 minute of the RTH sessions. And if we want to, we can just include this week. So I believe that starts on the 14th. So I'm kind of thinking it as a few zones. Here's our lower area, just where we've been able to catch the bid numerous times, our 64, 62 area. 64 is where I'll be looking to sell. I will consider that a move down below. The weekly POC, monthly POC, all that will be above us, will be likely outside of weekly value area low. We'll be outside of the close, we'll be outside a number of that structure, and I'll be looking for us to get down to at least this 43 area. However, more likely, once again, this pool of liquidity, which I've mentioned numerous times now, around 30. So I will be looking for us to get around 30. If we make our way back up, I will get long at 43s, but otherwise, I'm just looking to sell 64s. And again, like we discussed, if we do get to the weekly open where value area high from today is sitting, where the weekly POC is sitting, I will be looking to take that long for a move up to around 95. If not, towards sort of the highs of this churn, late in the day, so maybe around that 4006 area. Last week's high again sitting at 4009.75. So I'd be looking for that long to get either to where we did have our monthly POC and weekly POC at 96, or up towards that weekly high. And in an extreme scenario, we could see potentially a push above this 15 to 17 area, which has been super critical. I've showed this level numerous times. You can go back if you want to see it in other videos, but I would be looking to buy 15s as well for an extended move upwards. So that's what I'm looking at. To the downside, if we do lose that 30 area, I've said this numerous times, I will consider momentum on the long side on higher time frames to be shifted significantly if we lose this 39.10 to 30 area. If we lose this, I'm looking for us to sell 04, 82s, or 72s. Notably, we have some news pre-market and intraday. The G20 summit is over. We do have Bullard pre-market at 8 o'clock, and the Philly Manufacturing Index, I believe that is, at 8:30, and then Mester just 10 minutes after the open. So I will likely not be trading till about 9:41 or so, but that is what I'm looking at for tomorrow. So again, that is buying any of these numbers above if we do trade them, buying 15, buying 81s, or shorting 64s, buying 43s after a tag of this liquidity pool, and then selling these lower numbers, 04 quarter, 82 3 quarter, and 72 quarter. If there are changes to this, that will be made pre-market. I'm sure there'll be some small tweaks here and there. So give that a follow on Twitter if you'd like. Other than that, trade safe, you guys. I would be cautious of getting on the wrong side of what might be a very powerful directional move. If we do break that 60 area, I would expect us to lose the bid quite aggressively. So although we might catch a bid at 30, I'd be hesitant. And instead, essentially, what this means to wait for 36 is to essentially let the market find a bid and then take it long. Today, I actually had a similar setup. I'll just eliminate these lines and we can go down to 1 minute. I was saying I want to see us tag around 68, and then I would be looking to take 74s long. I think it happened over here. Yeah, we tagged that 68 number, and then I was looking for a retracement long in the 74 into off of 74. So once we traded 79s, I would have been long here at 74 half, I believe, was my number today. But that did happen after the first hour, and I'm not trading then. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Check out the Twitter pre-market to updates the levels. Other than that, trade safe, you guys.